Hi, this is Jonathan King from K2. Today we're going to be walking through an example complaints handling solution. The scenario runs as follows. A call center operator will capture a complaint over the phone from a customer. The customer services team will be engaged to review and resolve the complaint. A unified work area will be created for the complaint to capture all information, actions, etc. Both physical and electronic correspondence regarding the complaint will be captured directly into the work area. The benefits of such a solution include a single view of all activity, information and correspondence surrounding a complaint, complaint review and resolution executed against a formal process. That formal process enabling things such as automatic task delegation and task allocation to the correct team and team member, improved efficiency through the automation of manual steps and a structured process, and the outcome being detailed management reports and business intelligence around all complaints and how teams are involved in resolving those complaints. A number of different technologies are used to build this demonstration scenario. K2 Black Pearl provides the business process management layer. A number of different line of business systems are used, including Microsoft SharePoint 2010, though SharePoint 2007 is equally applicable, Microsoft Dynamics CRM for all of our customer information, Microsoft SQL Server and Active Directory. User experience is largely provided through either Microsoft Dynamics CRM, Microsoft SharePoint, or Microsoft Silverlight for forms. Other services include Microsoft Bing Maps for geolocation services, Microsoft Pivot Point and the Open Data Protocol, or OData, for enabling business users to take ownership of some of their own reporting needs. Our scenario begins with our call center operator, Sharm. Sharm works largely in Dynamics CRM, managing customer information and customer services. Sharm receives a phone call from Linda, who is unhappy with the quality of a recent purchase. Sharm can capture a complaint directly against Linda's customer record. In capturing the complaint, Sharm initiates the complaints handling process. With the complaints handling process underway, it is now the responsibility of the customer service team to review, investigate, and resolve the complaint. Jonathan, a member of the customer services team, is now tasked with that responsibility. As a customer service consultant, Jonathan spends most of his day working with solutions presented in Microsoft SharePoint. Jonathan can open the complaints handling management site. This management site provides an overview of all the open complaints currently under review, can provide him with real-time trend information about his team's performance in completing and executing on those complaints, as well as a number of different tasks. One of the tasks is actually being able to visualize all of the complaints on a map. This view gives the customer service team an easy way of understanding or visualizing where different complaints are being made from, and are there any hotspots from where complaints are actually coming from. We can see here Linda's details captured directly on this map. Each complaint is provided with a dedicated work area. Jonathan can drill into the work area that's been generated for Linda's complaint. Within the work area itself, there are a number of different elements. There's a combination of both documents as well as records. Documents may include things like policy documents that you see here that have been auto-populated based upon the type of the complaint that's been created, as well as auto-generation of other Word documents to assist our customer service team in generating perhaps letters and other content. The actual records may come into play when those documents become a move from a live collaborative document into becoming a record, something that needs to be retained for an extended period. The case stages really describe the life cycle of the complaint handling process. The very specific phases that we go through, from complaint review, compensation review if necessary, resolution review. And this graphic is really trying to provide a simple and clear understanding of where we stand within that life cycle. The case KPI is really giving us an understanding of how we're performing against some of our key performance measurements in resolving this particular complaint. Case comments is giving us an area where people can add some sort of narrative, some comments as to how they're going about resolving this particular complaint. And finally, case actions. This gives us the ability to initiate discretionary steps, perhaps sub-processes or sub-actions that are associated with this particular complaint. things such as generating a customer letter or generating an audit for this particular complaint at this particular time. Finally, there is the actual work list. This is the very formal task that's been assigned to Jonathan in particular to actually review this particular complaint and action it and move the process forward. During the course of Jonathan reviewing the complaint, it may come to his attention that Linda is called again, querying where the complaint review is currently at, in which case he may decide to escalate the case. He can use the case actions to actually initiate a case escalation. He can provide some detail, and actually choose to what level he wishes to escalate this case. All of this information is captured directly against the complaint and is visible by everyone who comes into Linda's complaint work area. As we can see, the complaint has now been escalated and we're now in an amber status, and the actual case escalation has actually been captured as part of the case comments. In response to the escalation, Jonathan may wish to send Linda a letter explaining where the complaint review process is currently at. He can use the case actions to generate a customer letter using a template and pre-populating it with all the business information that's relevant to this particular case. This level of automation, while quite simple technically, can save a tremendous amount of time if you think about the number of times it's likely to be repeated across all of the complaints or across all of the scenarios that you have within your business. We can see here the generated letter, and if we open it we can actually see the template that was used and that it's been populated with the information that was created when we captured the complaint originally. We can see the letter here that's been generated, pre-populated with all of Linda's necessary contact information, and it just remains for Jonathan to complete the remainder of the letter. He can save this, and it'll actually save directly back into the site for Linda's complaint. Not only have we generated a letter using a template and pre-populating it with business information, we've also gone ahead and declared that letter as a record, thereby ensuring that it is tamper-proof and is stored in line with perhaps legislative requirements or industry regulations. It's not only outbound correspondence that we need to concern ourselves with. We need a fast and effective way to deal with inbound correspondence, whether it's either directly from the customer or from other areas in the business or other related parties. This correspondence may come in a number of different forms. It may be digital, perhaps through email, or it may be physical. Perhaps someone sends a physical letter to our office that needs to be scanned and retained digitally against this particular complaint. We can accommodate both scenarios using this type of solution. Firstly, let's have a look at how we handle digital correspondence via email. Each complaint is designated with a unique ID, in this case CH36017. That also becomes the unique email address for this complaint. Any email sent to that email address will be automatically captured and stored in this complaint work area. So let's open up Microsoft Outlook and send this particular complaint an email and see how it reacts. We can create a new email using the unique email address that was created when we provisioned the new site as part of our complaints handling process. Type in the necessary details about that about the email. Attach any documents if necessary. And then send that email. We'll be able to return to our complaint site and see that that email, as well as any attachments, have been stored directly within the complaint site. Therefore, it becomes very easy for our customer service representatives to see any outbound as well as inbound correspondence, have it automatically stored. It also takes a lot of the overhead away from manual movement of documents between perhaps people's physical hard drives and the actual complaint site. If we now close Outlook and return to our complaint site, we can see here that the email has been stored, as well as the attachment. Only digital correspondence that we need to accommodate. We need to allow for the physical receipt of either letters or other documents, the scanning of those documents, and their digital storage within the complaint site. We can do this using a number of different scanning technologies. In this circumstance, we're going to be using a product called Knowledge Lake. Organizations take different approaches to scanning. Some have a centralized scanning function, while others have departmental scanning functions, or individuals have personal scanning devices directly on their desk. Both scenarios can be accommodated for. In this particular example, we're going to be using Knowledge Lake Capture to scan a document. We'll capture our complaint document here. We'll see that it's a letter from Linda. We can then index that letter using the unique identifier, the actual complaint number that we saw before. I can provide that as my particular reference, ensuring that this document will automatically be scanned and then filed directly against the complaint site. Now, if we close down Knowledge Lake Capture and return to our complaint site, we can actually see that the document has been successfully filed directly against the complaint. So we've seen there two different approaches to receiving different types of documents, whether it's digital or physical. Both have the end result. It's immediately filed directly against the complaint, thereby taking away a lot of the overhead in terms of manual filing and ensuring that documents are also applied the right metadata and are filed in the right location. Jonathan is now in a position to action his task, the complaint review stage. He can open the task directly from the work list here on the complaint site. This will bring up a form that shows all of the information about the complaint, including information taken directly from Dynamics CRM about Linda, the complaint details we captured previously. We can assign some additional information about this complaint. We can also link back directly to the Dynamics CRM entity and see the complaint if necessary, or Linda's details within that environment. We can also define what's going to happen next, or what type of resolution we'd like to have for this particular complaint. In this case, we can assign a compensation. We can say that we're going to provide a refund to Linda. Within the form itself, we can either add additional comments as we require it. Once all of that information has been captured successfully, the decision that we can provide is driven by the process, and we can say here, assign compensation, and then action the task. In doing so, Jonathan completes the task, and the process moves the complaint review on to the next stage in its life cycle. We can see here now that Jonathan's task has disappeared now that he's completed it. We can see also, if we scroll down to the case stage progress, that the complaint review stage has been completed, and we've now moved on to the compensation review stage. Alternatively, we can visually see how this particular process is progressing by following the ViewFlow link. The ViewFlow provides an easy to understand graphical representation of how the process is executing. The green steps are those that have been completed previously, and the blue step is the currently active step. We can see here that Jonathan completed the complaint review stage, made the decision to assign compensation, and it has now been assigned for someone to review that compensation and make a further decision before closing out the complaint.